there. Just in here. And this is part 4 of my warrior guide for 5.4 PvP. Last but not least, pretty much, this is where I'm going to be covering all my macros. Granted, I did not come up with these. These are definitely accredited to, well, I mean, these macros come from all over the place. So many different people. A lot of these I actually got from Bajira and his videos, but I just feel like I'd like to share this with our audience as well, for those of you who don't know who Bajira is. So these are my warrior macros that I use. First and foremost is the legendary one-shot macro that combines all the major DPS abilities that a warrior has. So right here, I actually don't have this completely filled out because, some BGs I really just don't even think is worth using my potions. So I have it listed, and then if I get into a BG where I feel like it's going to be worth it, I fill out the rest of it. It's just kind of like a little reminder, like, hey, fill in the rest of this. My one-shot macro, first is Potion of Mogu Power, which right now is, the best, DPS potion you can use. Then Avatar Bloodbath, if I'm using one of those. Berserker Rage, Recklessness Skull Banner, as well as Grievous Gladiator's Badge of Victory, which is my on-use PvP DPS trinket. And then it'll activate one of 2 abilities, my Shockwave or my Blade Storm. Shockwave is useful with this, so you can CC right off the bat as soon as you're using your burst to keep them locked down, to keep them from really doing much, and get a good initial advantage on that target while they're stunned and defenseless. Also will keep them from CCing you and controlling you for the first bit of your major burst. And then there's Blade Storm, which literally they can't interrupt you at all, and you're just going ham, hitting them for ridiculous amounts of damage. Moving on next to this is my battle stance macro. If you guys really can't tell in the video, like if it's pixelated or whatever, just let us know, and I'll just kind of post the macros as they're written in my macro feed into the description of the video. But otherwise, just maximize it, try to increase the quality, and just try to read off this. Battle stance, cast my battle stance, cancels Hand of Protection, Hand of Freedom, and casts my Battle Shout. And canceling the protection and freedom mainly is for, say, like an enemy player tries, stealing that freedom from you, and you want to quickly get rid of it. Boom, it's gone. A lot of my macros cancel a lot of, auras such as protection, freedom, blade storm, anything that could hinder me from activating the ability that I want to as soon as possible. My next one is my Blade Storm, which is just straight up Blade Storm macro in conjunction with my on-use PvP trinket for DPS. It's pretty just straightforward. This is my Bloodstorm one, which is when I'm actually using Bloodbath. It does Bloodbath, Berserker Rage, my on-use PvP trinket, as well as Blade Storm or Shockwave, depending on what I'm using, because Bloodbath actually goes well with both. As people are starting to find out recently, it actually goes well with Shockwave as well. With the damage it does, the bleed it gives, and also you're using Shockwave to do a quick AoE stun. So not only are you stunning them, but you're spreading that bleed and spreading that slow for them as well. That's just a random little buff thing. This is my charge macro, to where I actually, a lot of my, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but a few of mine, my abilities, my macros, I should say, have shift modifiers for focus targets, for mainly the use of arena, and maybe occasionally RBGs if I decide to focus target a specific healer. But this is laid out to where I have charge for regular and shift modifier, as well as hamstring. Now, in this patch, they got rid of hamstring's global cooldown. Now hamstring no longer has a global cooldown, and instead just has like a 1 second cooldown, and it still costs rage, but now in place of that hamstring being the global cooldown that takes up the charge, now I added Mortal Strike in, to where now I'm charging, hamstringing, and Mortal Striking all literally at the exact same time. Literally, that 1 second that's happening as I'm going at a target, I'm charging, and boom, hamstring is up, and my Mortal Strike is up. Debuffs all are there, all in that 1 second, leaving me an additional global cooldown to be able to do whatever other abilities I'm wanting to do. And you know, some say, oh, it's just one global cooldown. Sometimes that one global cooldown makes a huge difference. So that's why I definitely like this macro the way that it is set up. Oh, that's add-ons, not macros. Alright, so that's that. Shift modifiers, of course. I didn't shift modifier the Mortal Strike, though, because I only shift modifier this one so I can do a quick, like, charge and slow to an enemy target. This is my defensive stance one. Cast defensive stance, once again, gets rid of protection and freedom, and adds commanding shout into the mixture, as opposed to battle shout, because I feel like when I go defensive stance, I want to have more health. I want to be able to, take more damage, and that health will help that out. And when I'm in battle stance, I'm typically just straight up going ham, not even worrying about living. I'm just doing as much damage as possible, and that attack power and the rage it's generating definitely complements each other. Now I'm getting into the complicated little banner macros. Now this pretty much, if you see this one, it's pretty much the exact same for the mocking banner, except you're just replacing demoralizing with mocking in place of it. Recently, in BGs, it's been acting a little buggy for me, but like out here, it seems to be working just fine, where I'm intervening straight to the banner. I don't know. Maybe it's just me on my end. I don't know. But the way it works is it's set up to where it activates your banner. You still have to choose where you want to place it. So it activates the rune circle. Choose where you want it to go. Place the banner. Hit the same button again. Hit the same macro button again. And you intervene straight to that banner. Because what it does is it targets and intervenes to that banner and then targets your last target. To where you... so it's pretty much as if you never even targeted the thing in the first place. Typically with an intervene, you have to target whatever you want to intervene to first before you actually go to it. With this, it pretty much takes out the middleman and lets you intervene straight to it without having to worry about targeting back to your old target. So it really makes a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. This is my Focus Stormbolt macro, but it's pretty much a shift modifier, regular, hitting the macro, goes to my target, shift Stormbolt, goes to my focus target. That's just my Fury charge. It's a little different just because of Bloodthirst, and as opposed to Mortal Strike. This is my Intervene macro. This is another one that has been acting goofy for me recently. But like I said, it might just be on my end. I don't know. But what it does is it targets the closest friendly target to you and intervenes to them without you having to target them. And then goes right back to the target that you were previously at. So it's, once again, cutting out the middleman to where you're able to break those movement pairing effects without having to worry about targeting someone else and getting back on your previous target. It just is a slap of the button, and automatically you are, out of trouble. My next one's my Intimidating Shout macro, and this is the This is the one that also has another focus. It's another shift modifier focus, where it's similar to my charge one, to where it charges, and then once the charge meets its destination, it intimidating shouts as soon as you meet them. So it's like I'd go at the target, boom, intimidating shout. So it's a quick CC, stuns them for a second, then slaps on the fear. Since intimidating shout's a melee range CC, gotta close that gap, so I combine it with the charge in order to close that gap quickly, and then quickly get that CC onto him. Then it's Mocking Banner, which, like I said, demoralizing banner, just replace Mocking with it. My Pummel is another shift modifier one, just if I'm passing by my focus target and they're casting something, I can just shift Pummel, just boom, knock them in the face real quick while I'm still attacking my main target. My Rallying Cry macro, which combines Rallying Cry, Commanding Shout, then it uses Health Stone, and also, I don't have it completely written out because, like I said, some battlegrounds aren't worth wasting potions on. And it also uses Master Healing Potion, so I'm gaining health, and I'm also regenerating a bunch of health. There's my Shattering Throw macro, which will cancel Blade Storm for me. So if I'm in the middle of a Blade Storm and they cast an invulnerability, and we really quickly need to get this kill, they're really low, we need to get that invulnerability off as soon as possible. There's no time to wait for Blade Storm to diminish. Boom, cancels Blade Storm, starts channeling that Shattering Throw, tosses it. Pretty simple. Here's my Shield Wall. My Shield Wall macro not only cancels Blade Storm, activates the Shield Wall, but also puts me in defensive stance if I'm not already, to increase that defensive value that I'd be gaining from it. Moving on to next is Spell Reflect, which cancels Blade Storm as well. If there's a big ability about to come at me, big Chaos Bolt, for example, like say Destruction Warlock pops everything they possibly have and just starts channeling the big old Chaos Bolt, boom, cancels Blade Storm, reflects it, back at him, nothing to worry about. Moving on next, my Throw macro, and this is my little rinky-dink one. It's not really that important. Just does my Heroic Throw, casts Regular Throw, which is you just throwing the shurikens, the exclamation points in front of it, so you can pretty much just spam it and you just keep throwing it. It's just kind of for fun. And it has the G91 Land Shark at the end of it for if I have some in my inventory, and regular BGs. Just does a little bit of umph damage, and it's kind of funny. Next one is my Victory Rush, which cancels Protection, Blade Storm, and uses Victory Rush right away, just so if I'm low health and I was going ham on someone with Blade Storm and I need that extra health right now, cancels it, punches them in the face, get that Victory Rush, get that extra health, and keeps me in the battle. And from the looks of it, that's pretty much it. As far as my macros go, they're pretty much all straightforward. There's a lot of focus ones with shift modifiers. You just got to pay attention to how it's written out and write it out, to the T. And if you set it up right, you'll be saving a lot of time, saving a lot of trouble, a lot of hassle for yourself, and making playing a warrior 10 times easier than it would be conventionally with point and clicks and having to have so many keybinds for so many abilities that could just be used with one key. I'm debating about maybe making another video to cover as far as gameplay with the warrior, and pretty much showing you how all this kind of flows together, and showing how you can be in the end when using all these warrior tips and tricks. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to. So with all this together, all this gathered, all this information, next video, I'm gonna have some gameplay footage of me in Battlegrounds, pretty much, showing you my stuff, showing you how I go about everything that I've been going about, explaining to you guys, and how effective it can be in at least regular battlegrounds. So thanks for tuning in, guys. If there's anything I neglected to mention or remember, I'll definitely be mentioning it in future videos. If there's something you're still curious about, want to know that I didn't cover, let me know in the comments below. Like, share, tell your grandma, make a day out of it. I don't know. You do you. It's your life. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope to see you next time in my next video. See ya.